Welcome everybody to this, your Cancer April 2025 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, clairvoyant. Well, I've got a great deck for you this month. I found it in the bottom of a box. Hadn't used it before, and I had no idea what it was called until just a moment ago. One of my children, probably my daughter, found it in a flea market and gave it to me. My daughter, because she's the queen of bargain hunting through charity shops and flea markets and what have you. And contained in the deck as I was pulling the cards out was this thing, which says Tabula Mundi Tarot by M.M. Meline, and it is signed by the developer of the deck. And so I assume that's the mystery solved as to what it is. What is it? Tabula Mundi Tarot. But the main thing is that I just love the esoteric stuff that's in here, some of which I'll point out, but not all of it because we'll run out of time. Now, you do know, of course, that I provide clairvoyant readings to people all over the world over FaceTime and Skype. And if you might be interested to see what's involved in that, just check out the information that's in the description at the end of the tarot, of the video rather. Now, I charge for those, I have to. They go for about 90 minutes, sometimes more. There's another gift which I happily provide and which I do not charge for, and which is provided for free with no strings attached. No obligation, no expectation whatsoever. It is literally the free lunch, and it goes for about 45 minutes, sometimes longer, and it's the gift of healing, which comes through me and not from me. And where it comes from, you can probably put two and two together. Now, there's nothing particularly special about me. It's just that for some whatever reason, it just is the case that I was fixed upon to provide it, which I've been doing for over 4 decades. Now, you might just be at the end of your tether. You might just not know what to do. You might just be feeling that you've hit a brick wall. You may be having some concerns with business. There's all sorts of, it's a blank sheet of paper and you can write in what you want. And the thing is, as I say, is that there is nothing expected in return. Nothing will be sold to you, and you're not going to get talked into having a reading with me, and there's nothing from anybody else. So if that does call out to you, and I've got to tell you that hundreds of people have taken advantage of it through this channel, in addition to all the people I see privately, then just make use of it. Don't be shy. Reach out, and I'm very happy to do it for you, because I do set aside time each day, to do it. So take advantage of it. Now, there are no video advertisements in this content, so you get to enjoy the experience uninterrupted. Let's see what's going on. Show me the magic. 7 of discs. 8 of swords. 4 of swords. Here is Queen of wands, and finally, what shall we have? I saw what there was, so I'm not going to take it. I'll just do this, and finally there's what? There's this. 2 of wands, great. Why don't you come and sit down here next to me? I'll also bring the camera around so everybody else can see as well. And we'll check out the great artwork on the imagery here. I might point a couple of things out, not a lot because we'll run out of time, while the cosmic energies swirl and speak to us both, and I'll do the reading for you. Well, some unproductive thoughts going on in your mind. You're talking yourself down, but you get out of it. You go on to great success, fame, glamour. These 2 cards here are interesting. I'm going to look at them. Firstly, a lot of this is to do with your past. It's to do with fear and an inability to make up your mind. Before I touch on that, let me show you the back of the card for those people who like to see backs of cards. That's what it looks like. Okay, now this card here Now, developers are stupid because they put titles on cards, and this is not about failure at all. It really has something more to do with in this reading for you, with indecision and with a feeling of stagnation, and maybe even a sense of you feeling imprisoned by your past. Now, dealing with this first, what's coming up here? Well, it's said to be Saturn in Taurus. Well, Saturn, of course, is that slow-moving and restricting planet. And Taurus, as you know, is that plodding bull, that symbol for the fixed sign of Earth. And when you put Saturn and Taurus together, you really do get stagnation here. So there is some feeling around you, maybe it's in the recent past or lingering beneath the surface, of restriction, of just giving up, hesitating, looking at what might appear to you to be apparently insurmountable hurdles, and in particular, a fear of failing if you take action. Now, it is true that Saturn, when it's around, it can partly give rise, well, actually in a large part, to fear. Fear is a big factor in what this imbecile has called failure, because it's not failure, it's stagnation, or a reluctance to move something forward. It's a big factor, fear. And also in delaying recovery from things that haven't worked out in the past. And sometimes when things haven't worked out in the past, we are afraid that if we take action to do something which is in a similar vein, then it's not going to work again, or our confidence could have been shot because of something that happened at work, so we don't want to express what we have to say. And it might be the case that maybe you just don't think that you're worth much. And when that happens, you know, you can find ways to make your world small. You don't allow yourself to hope because you've already accepted failure. And this pattern of thinking, well, it often determines what the outcome of your most important choices are going to be. And this is very much of a choice card. I'm thinking I'll deal with that very quickly. I want to spend more time on this. So the thing is, though, that doubt and confidence are both acts of faith. They are both predictions of your capabilities. Now, whether you tell yourself that you can or you can't, well, whichever one you choose, that will happen, because those beliefs will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because when you validate your doubts by giving up just as much as you embolden yourself by refusing to give in, then the natural outcomes occur from those courses of action. Now, the only way that you can break this cycle is to be brave. I know that sounds, simplistic, but you have to ignore your doubts. Doubts are thoughts. Thoughts are pictures that you paint in your mind, and you put the words around them. And the most powerful words that you will ever hear in your life are the words that you tell yourself. That is what is important, what you program yourself to do, what you tell yourself. Doubts are thoughts. Now, I do understand that thoughts can lead to feelings with you, can't they? And feelings, of course, can lead to actions. And then we're going to do stuff that just reinforces that cycle of thought, feeling, action, behavior, thought, feeling, action, behavior. Well, you've got to ignore your doubts and just risk failure. There's nothing wrong with failure. No one's ever died from failure. You have to try to achieve something that seems unachievable. This is always the best recipe for confidence. And confidence is how you start giving yourself permission to take up more space in the world, to want more for yourself, and to know that you deserve it. Remember also that nobody can change the past, yet your own past does not have to hold you in a prison cell or hold you hostage to life itself. You are not your past. You today are somebody different, and tomorrow you will be somebody different again. If you're worried about things that have happened in the past, remember this, that the beloved specializes in granting new beginnings to people. Blank sheets of paper that they can write on, and it has no interest in what's happened in the past. But with respect to the past, remember that there is no do-over, unfortunately. But what you can choose to do, though, is grow and to take ownership of any mistakes that you've made and who hasn't made mistakes, and share your own story and experiences to heal other people. Now, we can also choose, in particular, to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. And when you've forgiven yourself, you can forgive others. And then you can also choose to use your experience to raise yourself up while giving hope and inspiration to other people. You can choose to grow from adversity, and you can choose to let go of victimhood. Now, sometimes, of course, things are aggravating and we feel that there are trials. But of course, take away your trials and you take away the magnificent reward of overcoming, which you do. So face these trials head on. Handle them one step, one decision, one deed at a time. Remember, life is not a race to the finish. It's an invaluable growing experience. Now, I don't need to tell you of all people, because you have that great mind and instinct and intuition, but of course life is not always perceived by us as individuals to be easy or to be fair, whatever those things mean, really. You see, we need contrast. Contrast is a necessary part of our spiritual journey in this lifetime. Now, self-pity or feeling defeated, that's not a way to deal with it. Stay strong, move forward, because someday you are going to rejoice over your brave decision to come to this theme park of life, refusing to settle for a mediocre ride on the merry-go-round. You chose to go on the big loop roller coaster instead. So raise up your hands and enjoy the thrill of the ride. I will say this, though. Never let anybody else see you suffer, because sadly it is a fact that some people will rejoice and thrive in your pain. So, no matter how difficult or stagnated your life might seem in your thoughts to be, always just be kind and smile. And if you do that, the beloved will grant you a greater reward than the suffering you have endured. But in particular, this is just beaming out and saying, let go of the past. If you have ever felt stagnant or hopeless, hang on, because the night you are enduring may seem long, but there is joy coming in the morning. Incredible changes are going to take place in your life this month as you begin to relinquish, give up your past, and renew your present. Letting go is one of the major cornerstones of being set free to make a decision to release whatever is holding you back. Don't hang on to anything that is not empowering you to move forward. Now, in reality, you always have the option of choosing whether you will focus on a hurtful past or fill your mind with uplifting thoughts of the present and all of its blessings, because the mind just cannot focus on both negative and positive ideas at the same time. I will say this, though, before I move to the other card, and that is this, that if you are in a relationship where you offer love and support and all you get back is dismissal and sarcasm, then maybe it's time to give that relationship back to God, and you and the other person can get on with what you are supposed to be doing here. Let's have a look at this. I'm just going to deal with this quickly. Well, the signature here is interference and Jupiter in Gemini. Gemini is a very distracting energy, it must be said, and I won't go into the detail of this. But Jupiter in Gemini, well, Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and that's completely opposite the sign of Gemini on the Zodiac wheel, so Jupiter is in detriment in Gemini, and Jupiter is weakened, so that expansive, philosophical planet is held back, and a weakened Jupiter means that you may not think that you can get what you want due to too many, which is the Gemini aspect, distractions, which are probably, and I mean this respectfully, probably self-created. Now, as a result of that, you get worry about thinking too much and difficulty in making a choice. But the reason why I'm not spending a lot of time on this is because you are going to then let things rest and develop on their own for a while, which I see here. Now, as long as doubts concerning decisions that you need to make remains, well, don't take on anything dramatic. Let Jupiter sit with you, and I notice it's here in this sign as well. Let it just come in and do its good work, because the problems which seem to be unable to be solved by you now are going to find their own solution in their own way. So in an overall situation, and it's connected with this clearly, that you might be having a difficult time making up your mind about something, what the best option is for you to do. You could have what I call analysis paralysis, with your energy scattered on endless unproductive thoughts. Or you could be wasting your time on new things instead of actually getting done what needs to be done. So what alternatives are you torn between now? Relax and let them develop. And just say this, look, I don't need to worry. I am not my past. I am good enough. I am lovable. I'm important. I matter. I am not my past. The beloved has given me a new beginning today. And that is exactly what's happening here. Now, this is, as we look at that card there, it's Jupiter in Libra. It looks, is that Libra? Yeah, it's Libra. Jupiter in Libra. Well, look, Libra wants to find and will bring balance into your life. And it can sometimes bring with it some unrest, some desire to move on, to create things. I do see this as a time when you are healing from this past, when you are recognizing who you are. You are a child of God, after all. You're a child of God. You're not, don't let other people make your life for you. This is a good atmosphere now for the rose of recognition to unfold and expand within you. You see, Jupiter is bringing the qualities of joy and expansion. So whatever situations seemed hopeless until now actually contain within themselves all the elements for a great and successful solution. There's an inner unification going on with you, and there is really the integration of, well, your mind, your emotions, your body, and your soul. Now, you see what's happening now when I talk about astrology, of course, I don't talk about it in the same way that all the newspaper people do or that. Mine's a very deep spiritual thing, because astrology, of course, started off as a spiritual subject, you know, in the Middle East, in ancient Iraq, Babylon, and the predictive side of it was just a byproduct. It was all about working out how to understand what our place in the order of things is. Now, Jupiter, though, here is giving you now that rest and recuperation from a difficult situation or period, as well as opening your higher mind's flexibility. And that's great, because that's going to allow you to resolve conflicts in your life. Jupiter is allowing you to move on. So here, the mind, the thoughts, which lead to feelings, which lead to actions, they are coming up with a resolution. And, excuse me, I just give myself concussion. So this mental health break is really good for you, I think. Make the most of it. You'll know when to come back. You're intuitive. You're mature emotionally. So trust that intuition to know when enough rest from the aggravation is good for you. So you will be, by doing that, at your strongest when you need to face the issues at hand. Now, understand that you have enough inner clarity to successfully carry out your plans, which are seen here. But be sure at all times that you feel good about what is happening. Now, what supports or what hinders your clarity? Now, this also speaks of confusion. So, look, confusion is a luxury, but it's a luxury that can be enjoyed only by the very, very young. And that's not you anymore, is it? So you will be coming up with decisive things to do. You see, you'll take action. And the good thing about taking action is it doesn't matter what actions that you take, because things can, even if you take a wrong path, you can always reverse and go somewhere else. Same as decisions. Just take decisions. If it's wrong, you can always take another decision to make it right. Now check out your surroundings now and rearrange them to support calm and centeredness, and say to yourself, please, I am at peace within myself. And then what you move into is something of a warlike energy by the looks of things here. Let me have a look. Well, if you imagine this going around here, that would be the symbol for, well, there's Mars there, as you can see. Mars in Aries, great, because Mars is the ruler of Aries. This hat is like the crowning warrior hat of the pharaoh of ancient Egypt. These things here are things that the pharaoh used to carry around, and this is all Egyptian royalty sort of stuff as well. There's the sun, of course, great importance in that old Egyptian religion. But I digress, and you will have, as it turns out, something of a warlike energy this month. You will be a dynamic pioneer, and you will dominate and master a situation which has been giving you grief. You might also be dominating another person or a situation. Certainly, you are not satisfied with your lot, and you will be focusing your intent. You are really at war. Now, Aries here, that's about exploration, pioneering. The 2, which is here, that's about balance that I see. So I think what we'll see with you is the energy to move in new directions if you want. That's the Aries aspect. From a place of balance and harmony, which is that 2, with the confidence and the aggression of Mars. Because Mars, the bearer of dynamic, active power, is in its own sign of Aries. And the drive forward is going to find new directions here. This indicates the renewal which accompanies things that have been let go or destroyed. This is also a time when you must collect and concentrate your energies to provide the courage and force necessary to embark on new paths. Now, whatever changes may come along the way, you are not going to be thrown off balance. As it turns out, rather, I think it seems that you will become overcome with boldness, courage, almost like a fierceness, dare I say it, a shamelessness. I think you'll be generous and proud. There may be a certain amount of revenge with you, and I don't make any judgment on that. But certainly your will, your desire is now beginning to rebel against the established fence that's been put around you come hell or high water, because you will be using your willpower to break through stagnant situations and to remove long-standing blocks. This is the time to act, and act on your instinct. Use that great Cancer intuition, and do what you believe to be right. I think you might also end up with dynamic leadership ability here. I can see that building up. So pay attention to centering. If you are in contact with your own center, who you are, and remember, you are enough. You are lovable. You are important. You matter. You are a child of God. If you're in contact with that center, then there isn't anything that you can't get on top of. So trust your energy and don't go for any false compromises. Say to yourself, I find the strength that I need now welling up from inside of me. Now, just to finish what looks to be this spectacular rising of yours is this thing here, which has got a lot of water in it as well, being Pisces, but it's also got so much Aries in it as well. I'm not going to go into all the stuff, but you can get the picture of the Queen, and in the suit of fire being wands, of course. Do you know what? You'll now have self-knowledge, and there's a compassion that's with you as well. I'm getting Pisces around here. Didn't I say that? That's going to give you sensitivity and inspiration. And this continuing Aries energy it's just still reinforcing that you are going to have leadership ability and self-confidence. Now, you will be very adaptable. You'll have a persistent energy and a calm authority. You'll have great powers of attraction. I think you might be very generous, but here's the other side of it. You are going to be quite intolerant of people who have opposing views to you. It's just something I suspect is going to go on, and, well, it's your life. I think that this is indicating that you have gone through this process of self-discovery and remembering your power. Now, you've got to where you are by resolving difficulties in the past. You've got a few scars, but your scars don't define you. And now you are a much stronger character. It's time to express your natural power and beauty and move on from the past. Because I feel now that you really do know what you want. You'll have a very active life, I think, and be creating a powerful first impression on other people. Look, good for you, because I think you've worked on yourself and made progress. Maybe it's time to share some of this with other people as well, and let your own self-realizations be expressed in your daily life. And how can you share what you have found for yourself with other people? Say to yourself, I am enough. I am lovable. I am a child of God. I am a radiant being filled with light and love. Just be careful that you don't have outbursts of ill-considered fury as a result of sometimes drinking too much, if I may say, but I say that respectfully. And those outbursts you might come to regret. Nevertheless, what an outstanding, great set of cards for you. Made so much better for you being here. I told you those cards were good, did I not? Aren't they fascinating, the imagery that's on them? I hope you enjoyed that reading as much as I enjoyed providing it to you, because I was delighted by it, I've got to say. Now, unless I see you privately, either for a clairvoyant reading or for a healing, then I'll see you here again next month. Until then though, remember one thing, and it is this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next time. And until then, it's bye for now.